Hey, so I'm back again. It has been at least over a week since I've recorded one of these, but I'm back and I'm excited. So I have some notes here, so I'll be looking down a lot, and I'm just excited. So if you're new to the channel, my name's Francesca. You can call me Frannie. And I started this series called Feelings with Frannie, just to get some thoughts of mine out and things. I wanted to share some things that I have went through that I know could help somebody else, and so that's really why I started this. And then I have just had it on my heart for a long time to share just my life experiences and stuff like that. And yeah, so I started this, and then I just want to give just all the love to all the people that have encouraged me or said words of kindness or thanked me for putting out my life and everything out on here, and just everybody that has come up and talked to me about anything that I've posted publicly. It means the world to me for y'all to say those things to me, and it really is encouraging, because honestly, I haven't said this out loud to too many people, but for years I have known that I was meant to share things and meant to share my life and meant to just be raw and put it out there. I've known that for a long time, and the Lord really has told me that time and time again, and I've just fought him on it because of fear of failure or fear of mockery or fear of just whatever. And so then when I finally decided to do it, I did it. I mean, I've been doing it. This is me doing it now, but today's the 18th, and I just started on the 1st of this year, really, or the last day of the last year. Anyway, the point is made. I started this, and the love and support and encouragement and all of the stuff coming at me from other people is just solidification that I am walking in the obedience of what the Lord wanted me to do. The next couple of these episodes are really going to be centered around how I myself pulled myself out of a very dark place and what I did to be able to do that, and how I got to this point of just really good mental health and just a happy life. And yeah, so 1 year, I tell people all the time that talk to me and know me personally, 1 year can make the biggest difference in your life. If you allow it to, I'll say that. So, and I can sit here and say that to you today because I've lived it. I've lived it a lot. Just throughout my adult life, I've gone through things, and I know a year, or not even a year, 1 month or 1 week or whatever. So just 1 year, it can make a difference. A year ago, I had some stuff going on in my life that really it shook me to my core, and I allowed circumstances to really take over my thoughts and the way that I was behaving and just my life, really. I allowed circumstances to take control over my life. And I just want to encourage you that, wherever you are in your life, no matter what you're going through, it does get better. It will get better. It just will, because that's just the way life is. We all walk through things. Della's asleep in the back seat asleep. I thought maybe I saw her moving. Anyway, squirrel. We all go through things that are hard and challenging and sad and devastating. We all have traumas of life that happen to us, and I just want to encourage you that there's always a tomorrow. The sun's always going to come up. It doesn't rain forever. It does get better. So the first step, really, that I can think, and before I started recording this, I sat down and I was writing out you know, everything that I wanted to touch on, and really like what truly helped me in the beginning, to be able to like move forward. And so really the first step for me was recognizing that I truly was in a dark place. It took me, I don't know, weeks, months maybe, to be able to look at myself and say, this isn't good. Like, whatever's going on isn't good. So the first step really is you have to recognize that. You have to recognize that you yourself are in a bad place, and you yourself are the only one that is going to be able to pull you out of that situation, or out of that mental state, or out of that negative place, that dark place. Like, you got yourself there, and you're the only one that's going to be able to get yourself out. So that's really where it started for me. And you know, like, I just wanted to say, I wrote this down so I would say it out loud too, but you know, I've already said like the circumstances that were in my life happening. Yeah, like, I had some really crappy things going on that were out of my control, but what I did have control over was how I reacted, and how I allowed my emotions to take over, and how I allowed my behavior to become. That's what I had control over. I didn't, you know, none of us have control over the bad things that happen. We have control over how we respond to that, and how we allow it to affect us. And so obviously I was in a bad place, and I had allowed things to affect me negatively. So really the first step was recognizing that I was in a dark place, and I had allowed myself to get there, and I was the only one that was going to be able to pull me out. And so then I read a book. I got off social media while I was reading the book. I deleted Facebook, I deleted Instagram, I deleted Twitter from my phone, and Snapchat. I deleted all social media like platforms like from my phone, and I read this book. And this book was really the first step in the direction of me learning who I am, and who I need to be, and who God wants me to be. It was really the first step in the direction of saying, like, okay, it's going to be okay. Like, I'm going to make it. And not only am I going to make it, but I can't even imagine how great my life is going to be, you know. And so this book was really the first step in that direction of positivity. Hang on, I'm gonna look at my notes because I think I forgot something right there, but yeah, so really it was the first step. It allowed me, the book that I read, it allowed me to just release control over the things that I was struggling with, to the person, you know, the one and only that can do anything about it, you know, and that's the Lord. Like, it really just made me, like, it stripped me, you know, like in a good way. Like, it just was liberating, I guess is a way to say it. And it really made me just completely and 100% totally rely on the Lord. And so the book that I read is God is Able. And a friend of mine, and if she watches this, she'll know who she is. I love you, girl. She gave me this book as a gift, and I don't know if that was a God thing, or if maybe, I don't know, like, it was a God thing for her to give me that book, but like, I just don't know if she knows how big that gift was for me. But anyway, so in 2019, it was just a year of growth for me, and I grew a lot, and that book was really the seed that started it all. So truly, like, I need to get a phone mount. Goodness, I told myself I was gonna make this video not say and anyways a whole bunch of times. Ugh, so annoying. But so yeah, I read the book and just began to put my trust in the Lord, and then I just went to work. And so recognizing the dark stuff, the bad stuff, recognizing that you're in a deep, really deep, dark place, and being able to look at yourself in the mirror and pull those things out of you and say, you know, like you're looking at yourself, you know, because we all get to a point, you know, we all have bad stuff inside of us. Like we're human. I mean, it's just the way we were created. Like it just is. And so for you to be able to look in the mirror and really pull those things out and then say, how can I make this better? How can I change this? How can I make it better? Right? And so it's challenging. Recognize all the things that need work. You got to be able to say, you know, for me, this is what I said. You got to be able to say, like, I'm not that positive. I tend to dwell on things that aren't really that important. I create friction in relationships that are really important to my life. I have become someone that people limit their time with because of that. And when I finally was able to look at myself and say, oh my gosh, like, I'm that person, I'm not as happy or positive as I could be, right? And so that's really that was the first step. And so then I began to pray. I prayed over my spirit. I prayed that God would help me control my thinking, because a lot of this was all internal, you know. On the outside, I might not have seemed so great, but internally in my mind, I was, you know, fighting these battles. And in my life too, the people that were really close to me saw this in me. And those that were there, you know, in those moments, and they'll know who they are, I'm forever grateful for those friendships and those people that I was able to lean on in those dark times. So you got to recognize it. You got to be able to pull out that dark stuff from yourself, and then you got to be able to say, like, I got to fix this, and I'm the only one responsible for fixing it, right? And so that's what I did. And one of the things that I started doing this, it hasn't been a full year, but sometime last year I started it, where maybe it was a year ago. Anyway, the point is moving again. But truthfully, this is something that I make time for every day. I'm not going to say that there aren't days that I forget, or not necessarily that I forget, but just the day goes by. And so I make it a point to go back that next day and write something too. I was going to show y'all in my thing, but anyways, I have a little spot in my calendar, day by day, and you know, sometimes it may just be like a sentence or two sentences, sometimes it's a whole paragraph, but I make a point every day just to find one thing. And sometimes, a lot of times now, it's multiple things a day that I'm finding, coffee, you know, mom life. But in the beginning, I would focus on just finding one thing that I was happy about or that was positive in my life. And I just started doing that every day, and I made sure to make it a point to do that. And that slowly turned into a life like that. You know, I can just, for example, this is a funny story. So it's been a few weeks, probably even a month ago, we woke up and we didn't have power. And I mean, it had stormed all night long, and so it made sense, right? And so I like got out of bed first and walked to the kitchen, and I was like, oh, we don't have power. And so I walked back to the bedroom. I had already gotten Della out of bed, and I just looked at Zach. I was like, hey, we don't have power. And I went on about my business. I don't know, like went on about the morning. And Zachary got up and he just kind of looked at me and he was like, kind of surprised by how you're like so chill about this, like you're not freaking out. And in that moment, it was like, I didn't think about it, you know, but at the moment I was like, well, I can't do anything about it, you know. But then later I thought about it, and Zachary was so used to me reacting like, oh my gosh, and you know, like freaking out over something that really doesn't matter, and just being angry or negative or whatever, you know. He wasn't used to me just like, okay, it's gonna be okay, right? And so for how many ever months that I've been doing this, like, it really has helped. It's got my mind to a place of like, yes, this crap hand of cards that I was dealt, but you know, like, I'm alive, and my kids are alive, and my husband's alive, and we're healthy, and we're together, and we're safe, you know. And so, like, what do I got to complain about, really? And so just the gratitude, like showing that, like showing up for that every day for myself and for the Lord, just writing down like, thank you for this, or thank you for that. Like, and there are some days that are easier than others. Like, some days are just more challenging, especially when you have kids, or just life in general. Life, you know, it's ups and downs, highs and lows, but you got to be able to focus on the good in the middle of the bad, right? And so that's what I did. That's what helped me. That's where I started a year ago. Man, it's scary to think about where I was a year ago and how much I have changed. Scary, but amazing too, because like everything in between has just, it makes the process, like, on the, you know, hindsight is 20/20, right? And so being on the other side of anything, and you just having that perspective and that wisdom and, you know, all of that, it's just, it's a breath of fresh air. So recognizing and taking responsibility are truly where I began the journey of a healthy mind and a healthy and happy life. If you're watching and you're going through something, I just want to encourage you that we all go through stuff. We're all in this life together. Everybody, we all have bad and good things that happen, and so I just want to encourage you that it will get better. And if you just try and focus on the good, even though, I mean, I know, because I've had some really terrible, awful things happen in my life, things that were far out of my control, and I'm sure that there are people that are going to watch this and are currently walking through hell, and it feels like there is no way up. You know, there are people that are going to watch this that have just lost a loved one, and I know from personal experience, I cannot win today with the camera. Life does get better. It'll get better. It always does. But in that, I really want to say that it's up to us to make it better. You know, nobody else is going to pull you out of that dark place. Nobody else is going to say, nobody else is going to do it for you. Like, you got yourself there, you're going to have to get yourself out. And yeah, so really the first step in a healthy mind and a happy life is finding that strength inside of you to pull the bad things out and do something about it. Just make it better, and focusing on the good. So yeah, thanks for watching. This is another episode of Feelings with Frannie. I want to say it's episode 6 or 7. I should know, right? Hashtag 2 kids. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and just remember that we're all in this life together. The rich and famous, the poor, the middle class, all of us, we all go through bad stuff, and it's just our job to be kind and do good with what we got. So if you like this video, hit the subscribe button, and I'll have more coming to y'all. Thanks for watching.